for JIT. JIT has been mentioned throughout the presentation about that. So I think if you can talk about mostly on JIT, that's the best. That's the best. Just explain more about JIT and these other ones. Partial. So as usual, my dear, 12 o'clock, we are going to be engaged, and then we're going to come out 2 o'clock. In room 4, this is management, accounting, decision making, and performance. Oh my God. This was from 10 o'clock to 12. By me. It's danger. Cost evaluation, again, maybe you can add. If we, or else you can put it when you are writing a standard cost evaluation. And if you remember, the presentation has got how you are going to evaluate evaluation. How you are going to evaluate the processes of evaluation when you are talking about backfresh accounting. So that's in connection of the exam. I hope after comparing what we wrote, now you know how many marks you have. So that's that. In fact, I've started, of course, but next week I'll give them the papers to you. It is long, but it has so many names, mind you, this one. You can also talk about those names. The delayed accounting. So that's the end of our revision on the exam. Any questions? How many marks have you taken, Sam? How many marks after the evaluation of what you did? You don't know. You have forgotten what you wrote. Good. No, that's bad. That's not bad. It's good. Come again? Oh, okay. So you are going to make it. No, you are going to make it. It's nothing apart from making it. I want to go to the course outline, that what did we learn and what is remaining, so that we should just start. I know it's almost 11:30, 30 minutes to go, but we can always start another topic in partial. Where did we live when we were talking about the course outlines? What? You say what? Okay, linear programming. Okay, good. We were at decision-making techniques. Decision-making techniques. Excuse me. Decision-making techniques. And the first one is what? Linear programming? We did. Okay, then the price decision, is it? We did linear programming and shadow pricing? Yeah. Okay, good. What did we say shadow pricing is? Sam? We talked about linear programming and then shadow pricing. What is shadow pricing? We didn't. So it means we did. Come again? Linear programming we did. But we didn't discuss about shadow pricing? No, shadow pricing we also discussed something. Good. What? You don't remember? Okay. And then what did we say linear programming is all about? You have forgotten shadow pricing, then linear programming. So it's a mathematical method that is also used in accounting when it comes to creating prices for the market. Okay. Yes, profit maximization. Yes, and cost minimization. Good. Profit maximization and cost minimization. That's what we said linear programming is all about. Maybe, Dorothy, you have an additional idea? Also used for yes. 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 Businesses always based on quantities. So they make decisions based on that to say, yes, these are the quantities we did. Okay. Maybe I even remember I gave in, let's say, a graph or a bar graph to say to decide whether or what next should they do by comparing the quantities. So it is again a very good technique for decision making as we are managers for decision and performance. We also saw into the, let's say, what do they base on when we're talking about linear programming? We say they also base on the principles that are there. Again, not forgetting the problems that can be there. So it also involves problems that can be there for them to know so that they should maximize the profit and minimize the costs. So we didn't learn about shadow pricing. Maybe we learned, but we have forgotten, as Augustus has said. We just discussed. Okay. We just discussed, but the presentation is with you. It's not. Is it? Okay. And then I'm going to give the presentation today. Good. Okay, as well, we're thinking about discussing the shadow pricing. Yeah. How about the advantages of linear programming and disadvantages? We didn't talk about them. We did. Yes. What are the advantages of linear programming? Okay. Yes. Some. There are many. There are many. Use of efficient resources. Again, quality, provides quality in decision making. Again, we can talk about the usage of computers is very easy for linear programming, mainly this time. I remember we even gave in an example to say people write dissertation, is it? Yes, they use the graphs for them to make a decision on what they have found out. And this is something that we can be thinking about when we are talking about linear programming.
It also helps with complex, like maybe complex problems.
Yes.
To actually simplify them.
Good. Good. So these are some of the advantages. How about disadvantages? Difficult when there are fractions. How are you going to make a decision? You remember that? Yes, we talked about this. Sometimes it's an equation. So those people that are not professionals, it's difficult for them to really understand. So those are some of the difficulties or disadvantages of linear programming.
And it also limits flexibility.
Yes, yes, yes. That's obvious. It really limits flexibility. In connection of making a decision on that. Did we talk about simplex? Simplex? No, we just did.
And we also need clarification on shadow pricing. We only discussed it, and we don't even recall what it was.
Okay. Let's go to shadow pricing. We have so many things, in fact, on linear programming. Shadow pricing. Let's wait for Dorothy, and I don't know where Mona is. You know, these are some of the things. Next time when you say that this is what we discussed, somebody doesn't know. Shadow pricing. We are still on linear programming, but shadow pricing. Maybe I should write linear. But according to what you can understand on shadow pricing, what do you think can it be? Shadow pricing? Augustus? Shadow pricing? Dorothy, shadow pricing, maybe, can you maybe think about that? Is it tentative price? Yes, it can be that. Good. It is. You know what? This is natural. This is natural. For example, let's say we're starting a business, but we're thinking of a business, but we have never been in the market. We don't know the action that is going to be there, is it? So when we think about that, we have to put a tentative price for that, isn't it? But we don't know exactly whether it's going to work in the market. That's why, you know what? Some of these things, you can pass them even without reading. Because the name itself, if we talk of a shadow, is it yourself? It's not. It's not yourself. But it's something that is just your reflection, isn't it? So it's the same with this shadow pricing. What do you think you are going to put in the market? You have something, a price that you put before you go there. Sam, what is shadow pricing now? Augustus, what is shadow pricing now?
I feel like it's just with the way you're explaining now. What do you mean? Is shadow pricing used in linear programming?
In fact, it is in linear programming. Yes, it is in linear programming. It's just a branch of linear programming.
I don't know how I can define it.
But I've explained.
Okay, with your explanation, it feels like it's just an implicit
value. Yes.
Maybe of the resource or maybe a constraint. So, it's hard to come up with the first
Okay, a shadow pricing, we're thinking of making a product, okay? But we don't know how much the market is going to buy us. Sam, I'm explaining to you, I want you to answer this question after that, because I explained and you failed to answer. You are not okay. Yeah, you said when you are coming. Okay, so we're saying shadow pricing. We're talking about decision techniques, but it's on linear programming. And shadow pricing, if you are going to see the presentation, it's a branch of linear programming. Shadow pricing. It's where we think about the price that the customers are going to buy us in the market. We know that the market has got a fixed, let's say, price, but we don't know as we are yet to go into the market. So we should have a shadow price before we do that. And not only that, it's natural, whereby when you have made something and you say, this is the amount, the thing that I've made, how much should it be? You calculate all the costs, whether basing on ABC or traditional, you say, this is how much I'm going to charge. But it's not always that the market can buy you at the same price, isn't it? Yes. So shadow pricing is the price that you give before you go to the market. But when I went to the market, they didn't even buy. Nobody wants it. Okay? It's there, whereby you see people learning to it. But sometimes you see the reaction is not positive. So, mind you, when we're talking about shadow pricing, we always have to think about convincing reasons for them to buy. Is it? You know, this is very expensive. It has material that is unique. Latest technology is there. Even when you go to buy a phone, they're going to convince you buy a more expensive phone than a cheaper one. They're going to say, no, this one has got this facility and so on and so on and so forth. Because they have the shadow pricing about that. They want you to buy. And they want to convince you because of what is there. So when we talk about shadow pricing, that is also involved. Shadow prices may be used clearly by convincing reasons for doing that. So this is why we're talking about that. Some of the most common shadow pricing used are briefly maybe described in markets when you are doing that. Sometimes we use the cost-benefit analysis. You remember that? The cost-benefit analysis? We say, what can we benefit when we do this or we price at this amount? So that is very, very important when we're talking about shadow pricing. The cost-benefit analysis is also very, very important in shadow pricing. I remember the other time in Malawi, we had a charge on car ammunitions. You remember? They were saying you are going to pay for the car because of carbon that goes. Yes, that goes up there. Okay, so maybe we can say, we can give that as an example to say, the government thought that this should be the price. Can you measure that this car uses or exposes this gas in the air? It's difficult, isn't it? So it's difficult, therefore a shadow pricing can't be put like that. You get the point. There are other things that is difficult for you to measure. So there was a shadow price that was put, but did it continue? It ended. They saw that no. People said, no. No. My car is good. I bought it last year. So which munitions are you talking about? I don't even, my car doesn't produce gas. So that ended. So I just wanted you to understand well about the shadow pricing. Sam, is it fine? Is it clear? Because sometimes you can be here looking at me, but you are not here. You are in Nkatabe. Mona, come again? He wants to lie down. He wants to sleep. No, be strong. You know, the world wants you to be strong, ever. Yes, be strong in everything. You're a man, mainly a man. Mona says no. But what? No. Even though he's a girl, she has to be. Come again? No, okay, you are, I was saying everybody has to be strong, but mainly you as a man, he has to be extra strong than us. If you want what? Everybody has to be strong. Yeah, has to be strong. So don't worry, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. So when we're talking about, let's say, shadow pricing of resource, we're talking about the value of one extra unit of resource. Okay, we have made this. We have sold to the market, and we are adding another unit to what we have made. Still more, we have to have a shadow pricing. So that is what they want to let us understand as decision makers, that when you are talking about linear programming, shadow pricing is also important in connection of decision making. And then again, we have the concept of duality. The same shadow, linear programming, we have again duality. Duality. What is dual? Two. So when we're talking about the concept of duality, we're talking about every linear programming problem has a mirror image associated with it that is dual. For example, if we want to maximize profit, there is always a minimization of profit. Oh, is it? Yes, you can think about maximizing profit, but sometimes you can have a negative what? Impact about that. So always when we're talking about linear programming problems that are there, they're always in two negatives, a positive and a negative. So that is what is there. That's why they are talking about duality concepts. So that is that when we're talking about linear programming. Maybe an example that can be there is that if we solve a dual problem, we also get solutions in primal. Primal meaning two again, where we can have a positive and a negative. So if we are talking about, let's say, a decision, you always have to have the two when we are talking about, let's say, linear programming. Linear programming, we always think about that is there. So you can, let's say, have something that you say, we are going to do this. You shouldn't expect it to be high always, but it can also be low. So that's why we always think about two things when we're talking about linear programming in decision making. And when you are doing that, you want to use the linear programming technique, always have that in mind, that always it has to have a positive and a negative, because you cannot always have a positive. Sometimes you can come back with a negative. So these are some of the things that we have to think about when we're talking about dual concepts. Advantages of duality. Always when we're talking about two things, positive and negative, advantages can be, accuracy can be there. Because we are aiming at profit making. What are the things that we have to follow? These are the things that we have to follow for us to make a profit. If we don't, it means it's going to be a negative. But we're going to be forced to be accurate so that we should have the profit making. So this is what they're saying, that that is an advantage, that we're going to be accurate. So when we are talking about duality, it's that in connection of linear programming and shadow pricing. And that's that. I think I just have to give you the presentation so that you should also understand about that. Ndiwe rumagawira nsa. You should take the presentation. Who has got a gadget that we want to? And you also talked about the what was it? You said the PDF. The PDF of what was that? Throughput accounting? No. The pricing. No pricing. No, we have not yet done. Shadow pricing. Oh, shadow pricing? No. No, throughput. Should be throughput. No, throughput. Backflash was very good to you, but throughput was a problem. That's why I said I have to share the presentation. It's too hot. It's too hot, and yet you are in a t-shirt. I'm in a jacket. I don't feel hot. Maybe old age. Pajamati linear programming sina upase. Okay. The linear programming. Kunoko, this other side. Only one port works. Yes.
I think that means backflash, yes, sir?
The backflash, yeah. Backflash accounting. Yeah, good. Ni magari zana upasana.